In the wilderness, experienced trackers rarely see the animal they are following. Instead, they look at the ground. Footprints, broken branches, marks in the soil. These small clues reveal something powerful. Not just where the animal was, but where it's going. Sales conversations work the same way. Buyers rarely explain everything they are thinking, but their behavior leaves footprints, and those footprints reveal the direction of the deal. Earlier this week, we talked about buyer radar, detecting the signals. Buyers send before they say yes, but detecting a signal is only the first step. The next question is more important. What does that signal mean? Because when you follow footprints carefully, they reveal movement, and movement tells you where things are heading. Let's look at how these footprints appear in real sales situations. You're working with a potential client. The meetings have been productive. Then during one conversation, the buyer says something interesting. I discussed this with our finance team yesterday. This may sound like a casual comment, but it's actually a footprint, because buyers usually don't bring internal teams into the conversation unless the discussion is becoming more serious. The deal is beginning to move inside their organization. That tells you something important. The conversation is progressing beyond curiosity. A thoughtful seller follows the footprint. They might respond. That's helpful to know. What were the main questions your finance team raised? Now the seller gains insight into what is happening inside the buyer's organization. The footprint reveals the internal conversation. Footprints can also appear in something simpler, the way a buyer spends their attention. Imagine you are presenting a solution. You explain several features, but the buyer keeps returning to one specific part of the discussion. They ask about it again. They explore it in more detail. They bring the conversation back to it later. That repetition is a footprint, because buyers usually focus their attention on the area that matters most to them. And that tells you something important about how they evaluate the solution. A strong seller follows the clue. They might say, "It sounds like that part of the solution is particularly important for your team. Can you tell me more about why that area matters?" Now the conversation moves closer to the buyer's real priorities. Great sellers behave like skilled trackers. They pay attention to small clues in the buyer's behavior. Internal conversations, where attention is focused. What topics return again and again. Each footprint reveals something about how the buyer is thinking. And when you follow those clues carefully, the direction of the deal becomes clearer. Because in many sales conversations, the buyer's thinking isn't stated directly, but the clues are still there. The seller who learns to follow the footprints understands the path of the deal much earlier, and that understanding changes how the conversation unfolds. The success lens. Change the lens, change the outcome.